Test, test. Welcome back. Lou Gehrig is supercharged. Nice. Sure, he had a good couple of games. Did they change the backgrounds of these? White Sox legend Dylan Covey. Yo, dub for dibs. 51 months. Bunch of months. Yes, sir. How you doing? Thank you for the resub, my friend. 51 months. That's like almost 5 years. A little over 4 years. That's crazy. Sorry for Mooney, but Sox be hot. White Sox are washed. Yeah. It's okay. They're okay. They'll be okay. They got Harold Baines and Sam Antonacci. Fun team to watch though, finally. For the first time ever, it feels like. Pretty cool. Pretty fun. I mean, it's a 500 team, but like feels like they're in every game, which is cool. And now we have a Aaron Bummer card. That's it, though. Nothing else going on here. So I guess we'll pick it up where we left off. The question is, where did we leave it off? We're about to find out. If you have Antonacci, you don't need anyone else. Genuinely, he's like their best player this year. He doesn't have quite the power that these other guys have, but he is like a 400 on base. He gets hit by pitch like every game. Kind of crazy. All right, so we bring in on the lefty. I think I'm going to get rid of this Kimbrel card. Yeah, why not? I think the last time we played, we were doing pretty well with this offense. A lot of good lefties. I think I need a good righty on the bench. We have this Edgar Caro card now. Is he better than Drew Romo? 102 and 92. Arm strength, arm accuracy. He just doesn't have fielding ability. But he has a reasonable pop time, which is like kind of similar to Drew Romo's. Romo just has better fielding ability. That's the main difference. How are you feeling about the Mets? I've lost track of them ever since they got off their losing streak. Have they picked it back up? They figured it out? What I really want is a center fielder for this team. Because like neither Doby nor Robert can really like get after it in center field. Like I could just start this Max Clark card. But I want to at least try to fit these White Sox guys wherever they can go. Yo, what up, MSK? Hello, Mr. Food. How you doing? I think we're just going to run it. We got the upgraded Murakami card. Let's do it. Sitting at, looks like 709. And we have Weekend Classic in just under 2 days. We have our Chicago Spring. We're going to go, let's go daytime. I don't know if I've played a daytime game yet. So we're kind of in striking position for getting to World Series today. But I haven't touched the controller in like 2 weeks. And our first game's going to be in Hall of Fame, so we're just jumping right into it. Yankees play the Guardians. How are you? I'm doing good. I got my first practice in for our softball league yesterday. Our first game is next Monday. and I'm very sore because I'm very out of shape. We were traveling last week, and so I thought like lifting a lot of heavy suitcases and whatnot was going to be enough to get my muscles back active enough, and it certainly was not. Watch this Mercy Rule win. I sure hope so. Am I the home team? I didn't see. Yes. With Dylan Cease on the bump. Let's do it. Oh, God. Oh, got it. Oh, my God. No way. I'm rooting for the Yankees over the Guardians in that one. Not going to lie. I think the Sox are like a game and a half back of the Guardians. 3 softball games so far. We're 2-1. Nice. What position are you playing these days? Or do you guys rotate? On our team, well, this is the first time we're running in this league. First time I'm playing softball. We have like 3 guys with softball experience, a decent amount of baseball experience, but then we do have like 3 people who have never played baseball, never played softball before. So I'm really interested to see how that goes. We had 2 of those guys at practice yesterday, and like they picked it up very quickly. One of them's like a good athlete, and then one of them I've never met before, but he picked it up pretty quick. He said he played like with his friends growing up and stuff. Oh, what a swing. That pitch was, I think, below the zone. Sometimes you get those below the zone swings and you'll like hook it around the pole for a home run, but this was like an actual tank. So we'll have to be careful of that low and in pitch to the lefties, as you generally should be. But low and in off the plate, like that. Tip the cap, I guess. So yeah, ours is going to be interesting. I think I'm going to rotate around a little bit personally, just to fill in spots where needed. But it should be fun. I think we're starting in the bottom league, and I'm hoping we can get ourselves to the playoffs. Our team's played baseball. I usually play an outfield, like 3-4 of us can catch fly balls. Dang. Wait, so 3 or 4 of you guys can catch fly balls, but the people that can't catch fly balls, they can play infield, like they can catch the ground balls. I guess if it's like hit softly enough, that makes sense. And I guess in softball, like there's probably a lot more fly balls than ground balls, I would think, compared to baseball. I was a little surprised because I was always a little bit better of an outfielder than I was an infielder growing up. But I was a little bit surprised how poorly I was reading the ball off the bat for fly balls yesterday. So I'm hoping that's just a rust thing. But it was a little bit rough. Not the hard hit ones, yeah. I guess it's just more important to have good outfielders than infielders in softball. Especially with like shorter bases and stuff, you're probably even a decent play is hard to get throw out. Team's just mid, gotcha. How long have you played softball for? I'm a little like I kind of hope that I can just keep this team going for a long time. But also, like, I have no idea if I'm going to stay in this town. There's a lot of question marks. I was just invited to play on this team, so I just do as I'm told. Fair. Alright, off with the first pitch, and pretty much could have been a stand-up steal if they wanted to. And a great jump, and I wasn't thinking about it. We looked at like the home run totals and stuff for this team at the end of last stream. And it was basically some of this power dudes like Colson and Munataka, whoever else has power on this team, they all had like 4 home runs or something. I might be exaggerating. It might be like 8. But then it was like Tatis and he had like 15. Ooh, faked him out. Got him. Whatever Luis Robert did out there in left center field worked perfectly. Yeah, this low slider, I think they've hit that like 3 times now. This one was on the other side of the plate, moving away, so they grounded over it. But anything that stayed on the inside half with these sliders low, they've been crushing. 30 year of softball, but played baseball from like 3 to 12. And then senior league from 18 to 26. Okay, nice. Ooh. I was looking for that pitch too. Now I get under it. I've been on top of like every pitch until this point, and I get under that one. I am really glad I moved because the town I was in before had like nothing for adult sports. It was all kid stuff. This was like the first time in a while I've been to any park around here, and the pickleball courts were going crazy. I think there were only like 2 or 3, but I could tell there were a lot of people there. It was loud, and it was yeah, it was getting intense over there. Sean Figgins has 12 home runs. Does he have power like that? 69, 64, yeah. Definitely enough power to hit home runs, but 12 still seems like a lot unless you're using this card hundreds of at-bats. Played catcher throughout my entire time playing baseball. Ooh. How are the knees doing? Yeah, catcher and slow pitch is kind of useless. Yep. We've got like the new players playing catcher. There's that slider again. I think if I threw over there a little bit quicker, could have had him because he was probably ready to go. Throwing from his knees. Perfect throw probably would have got him. I wasn't expecting that, like... Usually I'm pretty locked in when I throw from the catcher position, but he didn't get up from the knee, and that kind of threw me off, like, visually for some reason. I was like, wait, what's happening? Ball 40 Jordan, I'm okay with that. Play at least 3 girls at a time, so a girl's always at catcher. All our girls, but 1 are pretty bad. Gotcha. Let's go, Dylan. Yeah, I ended up just doing a men's league. Let's go. Triple play? Let's go. Clean throws around the infield. Get through. Nice. All right, we got our first hit. Under that one was not a sinker. That one's also going to get through the right side. Triple play. Oh, that was almost out at first. With 84 speed. Oh. That was on the plate, it would have been nice. Fastball upstairs, swinging through it rather than a double play. I'm okay with it. I'm not a contact swing here. Did not call it a strike. May check back later. Sounds good, dude. Get the dub because I need the Guardians to lose. Oh, Oh no. Thank goodness. I sent the guy to third, but for some reason in my head, I was like, the guy from third would automatically go home on that. But obviously that's not how it works. Luis Robert brings home the bloop single. Just trying to get that sinker. Somehow getting a piece of that one. I was not contact swinging on that one, but it's got pretty decent vision. Fastball staying in. There you go, Ray Durham. Turning on his sinker. And we're going to try for 2. Cutoff's going to go towards home, so I'll have a good angle. It's like, I can never tell when someone's just going to gun you in this game. But at least when it's going to right field with a runner on base already, it's not going to get thrown in like that. Okay. Dotting up the sweeper inside from Harold Baines, who's on a bit of a hot streak. I think last stream he had like 3 home runs. And I did tune down the elevation at this park. The ball is still flying, though. Last time, I think after the first game, because I was hitting home runs at like 87 miles an hour. And this park is like a reasonable size. And the elevation was probably either 3,500 or 2,500, and then I dropped it by another 1,000. I think it was 2,500, and I dropped it to 1,500. But it still feels like it's flying. Okay, just pumping the sinkers past me that time. See, it's the lefties that have been doing the damage, I think. Durham and Baines with the biggest hits so far. So I'm curious what the pitch mix is going to be here. .111, that's a true Colson Montgomery swing. Everything he hits is just like, in real life, it's just ropes or he just completely whiffs it. No, inside. He's good, but he needs to have better at-bats. Let's go! He also has like a lot of movement in his swing for a tall guy. I think Judge is a good example of like a tall guy not having too much movement, as opposed to Colson Montgomery. He's a very athletic swing, but he's just moving all over the place. Speaking of Aaron Judge, there he is. Like, Colson strides like he's a much shorter guy. He doesn't need all that movement. He's tall enough to get leverage.
Up next for the Reapers, the third baseman, Francisco Lindor. No way! Drop! Up next for Rock City, the left fielder, Travis Bazana.
Hey now, turn 2 here. Ball 1.
Going off the plate with the first one. I kind of want to throw the slider. I'm going to throw it way low, though, because I know he wants to swing at it, but yeah, that's exactly where I wanted it. Because that one just below the zone, they've been crushing.
Ball, that's in.
So far, I don't really know what to throw to this guy. Definitely need to use, like, top of the zone a little bit more, though. There we go. A little nick of the corner there.
Let's go, Dylan. Ball one.
And let's see if we can get a ground ball off this curveball. Perfect. Nice. Ooh, just barely got green there. Sweet. I was going to say, I want the sinker, but I'm not sure if he's going to throw it. Sometimes I really have to just commit to that pitch.
Nice rip.
Now batting for Chicago, the catcher, number 36, Drew.
That one is not going to get through. Romo, not enough speed either to beat it out.
Third baseman, Antonacci.
I might need to get Antonacci to the top of the lineup as well. Ray Durham's not as good for me as he was, but
Ball one.
still pretty good. But we might shift it around. The problem is I have so many lefties. If I put Antonacci at the top, then I have 3 lefties to start the lineup.
For the Reapers, the second baseman, Matt Carpenter.
Matt Carpenter trying to go off the wall here. I'm going to try to play the smart. Keep him at first. Some of those, like, jump opportunities are a little bit deceiving. You can't actually reach them. I was going to say this is going to be double play number 3, but I think it's only number 2 because the first one was a triple play. But now that I think about it, maybe it's 3 double plays and a triple play. Ends up being, I think, a 3-pitch inning. And that was a big play to keep him at first there, too. It immediately resulted in a double play. I saw it, just couldn't get the PCI there fast enough.
The batter, number 5, second baseman, Ray.
Oof.
Here we go, Ray.
Sometimes I hate when I do that, but sometimes I like when I do that. Not that I do it on purpose, but in a game where I'm hitting like pretty okay,
Ball, that's in.
it makes me think that the other person is losing their minds. Losing their mind because they're like, wow, this guy scored a bunch of runs on me, but he swings and stuff like that. It's got to give them some kind of like mental despair. So I'm with it.
Foul ball.
Michael King gets through the 5th. It's only thrown like 60 pitches. So I'm going to need a little bit of insurance runs because they've got 8 hits. The double plays are killing them.
For Rock City, the designated hitter, Yordan Alvarez.
Nope, outside.
But sometimes that doesn't stay that way for too long.
Strike.
There you go.
Up next for the Reapers, the shortstop, Ellie De La Cruz.
Ball, that's inside.
Can't catch the corner there. Yeah, let's see what this pitch can do. Sometimes I'm just hoping it looks like
Here we go,
the
Dylan.
breaking ball they just saw. It just gets them off their timing. Another one of those low and in sliders, and it's going to be a double.
We got a
Yep,
ground
anybody else in center field probably catches
rule,
that ball.
bases.
I'm just nerfing myself with Robert playing out there.
Let's go.
Oh, nobody covering the bag. Tough.
Let's go.
Up next for Rock City, the third baseman, Francisco Lindor.
Let's see. Do we think we can beat him inside? We beat Judge inside, but that was with a sinker.
Inside.
You never know with the fastball. That one pretty much went nowhere where I wanted it to, but it was even better than the pitch I was going to throw, so we'll take it. There you're going to go. Another hit. Just keeping him at bay for now.
Ball. That's inside.
The base card for this Murakami is 101, 118. I think I have like parallel 2, parallel 3 on this card right now. That one had a little bit of a lunge. One of those like pull off animations. Ball moved away from my bat just enough. My barrel. There you go, Tatis. The team leader in power continues. Oh, yes, sir. What up, Nikolai? What is this badge we have here? 007 gun barrel. You playing New Light?
That ball's foul.
White Sox legend Fernando Tatis Jr. doing what he never could for the major league team. That's the crazy part. Him leading the team in home runs and not even on the team.
The left fielder, number 20,
Just an afterthought.
Vargas.
That's a ball.
What you got going on, sir? Ooh, called a strike. Called a swing, I should say. Missed that one, just under it. But we get one more on the board. Ceases at 55 pitches. I don't think he's a guy with a ton of stamina. So if he can just get through 7, that's great. Especially with all the base runners he's allowed. Exit was 89 miles an hour. Felt like it got through the infield real fast. There you go, another base runner off the board. The hits are just not paying off for this guy. And it's not like that was, you know, trying to cheat for an extra base for the steal. But it's not like it's been bad base running necessarily. The triple play was probably bad base running. But at the same time, it was a guy with 99 speed. Like, that's an interesting one because of how fast that guy was. That might be a play that someone would attempt in real life. If you had Chandler Simpson on second base and a double play ball is hit, there's a decent chance he would go for home.
Up next for Rock City, the first
So even that triple play like wasn't even necessarily bad base running.
Come on, Dylan.
And especially in a game where, like, you know, you could argue that it would be cheese, or in previous years would have been an automatic score because of the inability for an infielder to throw home. But it's just been double play after double play. Romo's got one hit. That one's not going to get through.
Oh, come
A lot of my RBIs in this game, the 3-run homer from Baines and the double from Ray Durham, those were both on pitches in off the plate. That one stays on the plate, and Antonchi gets every piece of it. This guy's crazy, though. He hits for power against righties and lefties for me. He's got 81 power against righties, which is good. Against lefties, he has like 57. Still hits home runs. Looking for it, got it, missed it. It's one of those ones where I see it, I'm looking for it, and I see it, and I'm just like, while I'm seeing it break a little bit, I'm like, nah, it's got to be a slider. And then I like move the PCI, throw off my own timing for no reason. Sometimes I just got to really commit to the sinker. Michael King is in the yellow.
Inside ball.
Good lead.
Drop it.
And we get one more insurance run. Might be trying to bunt here. Let's find out. They do have one bunt attempt in this game. Not happening here, though.
Here we go, Dylan.
Ball one.
Dylan Cease is also in the yellow. I really should just take him out here. I was going to say, I'm pretty much going to give him one base runner.
Move it, move it, move it. There we go. Go, baby.
Decent amount of missed dives so far in this game. I probably had 2, maybe 3 missed dives so far. Finally get a nice play up the middle there against some good speed. The best speed. 2 outs now. 2 doubles for Ellie. What did I throw him on? Gotta be the slider for the last one. I'm not sure about the first. On the run, we got the moving green, and we got him. Okay. Quick inning for Dylan Cease. I'm not going to test it in the 9th, I think. He's thrown enough for me. Errol Baines gets a second one in this game. He was a guy who really couldn't hit for me power-wise when I used Big Zone. But he's turned it on ever since he hit P5. Ooh, that's a true Murakami whiff right there. I thought I was all over it. I think that one's going to go. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
118 power is going to take it out to pretty much any part of the yard
Ball.
at any time of the game.
Aye.
Oh,
Chicago, the shortstop.
fastball down the middle. You know what they say. Hardest pitch to hit. Some people, like, you can throw the fastball down the middle multiple times. If you're playing something like just good enough, that first fastball down the middle that they miss, the next one they're probably not going to miss. Third one, they're definitely not going to miss. Ooh, that's a hack. Interestingly, though, like, sometimes I've noticed that, like, I'll be playing in a game, I'll be pitching to a guy who I feel like I can't figure out how to get him out, especially because, like, just constantly they're getting hits on pitches out of the zone or at the edge of the zone. I just throw one pitch down the middle and it kind of resets them. Then you throw one down the middle and they miss it, and they're like, okay, I'm not going to miss this one again, and then they, like, try to recalibrate to make sure they hit that pitch, and then you can start working the corners again. See if that gets down. I would have felt a little bit bad. Just a little bit, though. Not that bad. Especially because they're leaving the starter in there. I would probably do the same in this situation, down by 7. Down by 7 and the bats haven't really come alive. Well, they're hitting decent, though. They're getting a lot of hits. That's the only thing. I usually say if I'm not scoring, I don't usually make bullpen moves. They're not scoring, but they are hitting.
Ball, that's inside.
That one's 83 off the bat. Whoa, I've never seen that before. He was running in the air. Okay. Diablo said, watch this mercy right here. And it almost happened. I missed that Miguel Vargas home run opportunity there. But that's okay. We'll go Dominguez.
Now pitching. Serenity. Dominguez.
It's almost prophetic, right? I would have needed one more run after that, but with 2 outs to work with, I feel like I could have got it. What up, ASG? If they weren't hitting, they might have quit by now. If they weren't hitting, they might have quit by now. There's no even XPing.
Nope, that's off the plate. Ball 2. Nope.
What about XPing? Event XP? Ugh. That one's a dribbler through. Like getting player XP with hits. Oh, gotcha.
Up next for Rock City.
For parallel. If there's no player that they're XP. Yeah, gotcha. True. Unless they're like me. I just never quit a game. Unless I'm like super, super frustrated. Usually I'll just let myself get mercy.
Ball 2.
Because I'm stubborn.
That's inside.
That's like when I watch a game when my team's getting blown out. Especially if it's a year where like this year for the White Sox. Oh man, what a dot with the splitter. This year for the White Sox, like they've still had games where they're getting kind of blown out. But I'll still watch those games because I still have a sick belief that they're going to come back. And even if I don't believe that they're going to come back, I still watch because of the off chance that they do come back. I want to be able to say that I was there and I stuck through it. Because I'm stubborn like that. Oh, get the ball though. You been to any Yankees games yet, ASG? Whoa, that's not the pitch, but it's the same game though. It's still the double play game. I got to see how many double plays I got this game. One of them was a triple play. None this year. Yeah, I haven't been out yet either, but I feel like I need to get out there. All right, Pelicans. No. Let's go all. Result. Does it show double play? Just says out. Maybe in the box score. Okay, grounded to double plays. There was only 3? What the heck? That can't be right. Well, it doesn't show triple play. Doesn't show triple play, so I guess it's 3 and 1. I also never leave the stadium early. You might witness something special. Exactly. We got 37 points for that one. That guy was over 800 already. That's a pretty good jump. We got a lot of cards for this game. One time I was a Mets game and I witnessed a walk-off unassisted triple play. Oh man, you were at that game? That was a long time ago, right? Like 15 years ago. $2009, dang. Cardinals Mets game a while back. Mom made us leave early, extra innings game, and Poole hit 2 home runs that game. Dang. I was at an independent ball game one time, like as a field trip at school, and I think they were, I want to say it was back and forth all game, and they were like down by 1, and we left like in the bottom of the 7th or whatever, the final inning, and they hit like a broken bat walk-off home run as we were already like out the doors of the stadium, but we could kind of like not see exactly what was going on, but we could see like the scoreboard and hear everybody. And it was yeah, I probably vowed then to never leave early again. That's probably where it started. Didn't even realize what happened for a minute. I bet. That's what I wonder sometimes when I'm like watching on TV, wondering what people are thinking based off of like the reaction of the crowd. Sometimes it's like, oh dang, they didn't realize what just happened.
Here we go, Jacob.
Especially from like certain perspectives, certain seats in the field. You just can never tell. Yeah, this Durham's down to 281. Maybe because I'm swinging at stuff like that. I swung at that one too. Eli from Shy, 23. Batman. That ball looks funky off the bat, or out of the hand. Cool. There you go, Harold. Playing 82-0 or Quest versus 117.
The first baseman, number 5, Munetaka Murakami.
Is that a particular game mode?
Oh, now, let's turn 2.
Or is there some game I don't know about?
Come on, Jacob.
New version of Immaculate Grid. May I send links? Yes, please.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
82-0, I assume, is like the basketball version.
Ball 1. Ball.
Draft 11 players across 100 years of baseball to break the MLB record. So you start a draft. Okay. Is it like daily or something? Runners on first and second. The runners went on the pitch, line drive to the second baseman, who immediately stepped on second, then pretty quickly tagged the runner coming towards him, all less than 10 seconds. You can play as much as you want. Oh, okay, cool.
Leading off here tonight, the center
That sounds fun. I will probably do that. So does it
Inside, ball 1.
just simulate you against, like... Okay, this one has an example or an explanation. All 5 rounds can fill your starting lineup. Higher stats win more games. Missing defensive stats from older eras are estimated fairly. Interesting. Does it put you up against like today's modern NBA? Like, how do they measure whether you won or lost a game? Infinite teams and effort to break the records. Some engine just takes the stats, and the better stats you win more games. Interesting. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I can picture that play, ASG. I remember
Come on, Victor.
I remember seeing the highlight for that one like a million times. That was crazy. Do you always take the best player? Sounds like defense has a part of it. Like in basketball, it sounds like they have some defensive metrics. Okay, it's based on points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, steals per game, and blocks per game. That's what the rating is based off of. But I don't know if like the player itself has more attributes and stats to them. See if this one can get down. Nope. Sometimes the best player is in a position you already filled out. Interesting. Sounds like there's a lot of RNG in there, which I guess is the case of why nobody's gone undefeated before. Take the best war, don't try to get cute. That's a good question.
Let's go, Jacob.
Only one way to find out. If I hit World Series early today, maybe we'll try a draft on stream. That's a big if, though. I haven't hit World Series yet this year.
Ball.
Already seen 3 lineups go undefeated in basketball. Okay.
Swing better.
I think I've been seeing some people do this on like
Let's go.
on some shorts and TikTok for content. But I don't know if they're exactly using this or if they're just kind of doing their own.
Drop it, drop it, drop it. Ball. That's inside.
Counts more towards counting stats, not war. That's what I'm wondering too, because like it would be really interesting to see how like some defensive metrics go into it. But if it's just like blocks is the defensive metrics, I don't know if that's like
Aye.
as beneficial. And it also kind of like it might favor, like you might put like it might get to the point where, oh, this is an interesting one, right? Because in basketball,
Leading off for Chicago.
the last 10 years are way different numbers wise than the previous forever because of the pace in the 3-point game. So you might have a guy who scores like 25 a game 30 years ago, best in the league or whatever, and now you got like not role players exactly, but second, third options getting 25 points a game. And so maybe you have to like take someone from the modern era because their points per game is going to be like much higher, even though they're not like the better player. And like everyone would agree that they're not better than that player. Classic and IQ where the stats aren't shown to you. Interesting. Also true about the earlier years. My friend got 82-0 with Wilt and Oscar Robertson. Yeah, true.
Come on, Jacob.
But I am curious if like if you have to take like SGA over over MJ every time. That would be kind of funny.
Let's go, Jacob.
Called strike on the check swing. Only 12 pitches so far, so a lot of early at-bat swings so far. Nice placement from Colson.
What was that?
Ben Rice rolling over. Curious about the baseball one too. I've played a decent amount of like out of the park baseball in the last year. Perfect team mode, which is like Diamond Dynasty kind of thing. And that one's interesting because like they have a lot of attributes to go off of. They have a decent amount of actually they don't have that many attributes. I should take that back a little bit. But they have a decent amount of like customization you can do on your strategies and things like that, how you work your roster. And some like team philosophies and stuff like that.
That's ball 3.
That affects how your team shapes up. But it is interesting because like you can tell there's a little bit of shenanigans going on behind the scenes so that it doesn't end up being like always the same result with the same players. Like if you've got the same 15 guys, their attributes never change. 15 as in like more or less the lineup. But let's say your 26-man roster and their attributes are not changing. So on average, you're facing the same level of competition from season to season. But you can have someone who does like wildly better in one season versus the next season. And it kind of doesn't make sense unless you have like logic built into it so that they can't be very consistent. And
Now batting for Chicago.
it makes it more like interesting in that you have to do more to work around that, but it also like doesn't really make sense when it comes to the pure numbers and how you might simulate it.
Oh, yeah!
Like, yeah, they would still go on like stretches of bad luck and cold streaks and stuff like that. But when the attributes stay the same, you would think over the course of a full season, their seasons would be very close to like identical year season to season. So I'm wondering about that here too. That's why I asked about the engine, because it's like, well, is there any other shenanigans going on behind the scenes where if you drafted the same team twice in a row, how big of a change could you have? In out of the park baseball, you can use the same team 2 years in a row and pretty much you could make the playoffs one year and you could win 60 games the next year.
Let's go, Victor.
Which I would say like is something that could happen in baseball in real life. Not that it ever happens that you walk in to spring training with exactly the same team, but like if it did happen in major leagues, there's so many variables of what happens to players in the off season. A person's like quote unquote attributes in real life can just change overnight. Whereas like on paper in a video game, the numbers are just there. Those are not changing. So that's my interesting question. Interesting to me at least. I do think it's cool, like, in Out of the Park, they also have something where they change eras. So certain things are weighted a little differently. Not every season, but, like, once every 4 seasons or something, they'll change the era. And so that makes a little bit more sense. Like, a guy who strikes out a bunch maybe is not favored as much in a earlier... in a season, like, from 50 years ago. And that makes sense why they would be not as good for a particular season. But It even happens on regular live series seasons to season. 66 and 16, nice. Who was on the team? Who was on the team for that one? Bad jump and left from Antonacci. Still gonna get there. Sorry, that's not Antonacci. That's Miguel Vargas. Hopefully Antonacci gets another card soon. If he does, he'll probably be in left field. And I think he's played a pretty good defense. Sometimes he gets a bad jump, but he's got good hands. Wemby, Cat, Arenas, Brunson, and Adrian Dantley. Does it give you like stats at the end of the season? Like, does it give you what their simulated stats end up being? I'm wondering what the weak spot was. Probably the backcourt, I would think. Because Wemby Cat kind of feels like game over. Actual stats for the decade of that player. I see. Get over his head. Nope.
Jacob.
No, inside.
Whip.
I'll go undefeated with this team within another few years of Wemby stats. Yeah, very true. I'm so glad that Oklahoma City lost. Oh my God. They were getting insufferable. Not that I've like really followed the NBA that much, but
Come on, Matt, let's go.
I do think like there's a lot of this is like a potentially endgame basketball of like how ugly the sport can get with foul baiting, jacking up threes, and then like the weird travel stuff that happens. And the foul baiting stuff I think is the most annoying. So I don't know if after next season, now that OKC lost, I don't know if they switch up the way that they officiate some of this stuff. That's all they have to do. It's like purely up to the NBA how they want this to go. If they're not going to call any of that stuff, it's just going to be like that. The three-point part is a little bit more difficult to deal with, but foul baiting and like the travel stuff, the gather step, that part they could do something about pretty easily. It's annoying here in New York. We know we're huge dogs, but the national media is loving us too much and making expectations too high. At this point, are they saying like by expectations too high? Does that mean like if they're saying like if you don't sweep them, if you don't sweep the Spurs, then it's embarrassing kind of stuff? Or is it like save it first? Nice. I feel like once you're in the finals, it's like, yeah, I'm a fan of the team. I want them to win. I think they're gonna win. I got hope kind of stuff. At what point does it become too much? Reggie Miller and some other sports channels are ignoring how bad the East was and acting like we should have been even odds. instead of big dog.
Turn 2.
Ball in.
Oh no. 4-1 Spurs, do you think? Dang.
That's ball 3.
Sit him down.
Nope, that's ball 4. Take your base.
I think Nixon 7 says dibs.
The batter, number 3.
I feel like they had good playoff experience last year. All I remember, so last year, all I've watched of the last 2 years, basically, of basketball, outside of the Bulls, was the first round of the Knicks last year, and there were like some
Adrian.
heroic moments
Adrian.
in a lot of those games. It was a super fun series. I don't even remember how it ended, but I think the Knicks ended up winning.
Strike him out.
But that was super fun to watch.
Now batting for Chicago, the first baseman, number 5.
Feels like a team that has a little bit of magic. But I don't know. I'd have to look at the roster, see how that matches up. But nobody really matches up with Wemby is the problem. His cat. I don't know. Have they matched up before? Have they played in the regular season? In the last couple of years? Crazy if the Cavs won and Harden snuck in a title run while nobody was paying attention to him. True.
Drop it.
That would be the only way he makes it, though, because I don't know. Everybody around Harden always says that he's like a great teammate and like they want him on the team, all that kind of stuff. But he seems like the kind of guy that like he's all in when everything's going good, and then as soon as it goes bad, he's all out. That's outside looking in. I have no idea if that's true, but like I feel like that's what the evidence points to. Playoff Harden is undefeated in memes.
Leading off,
Can't be defeated if you don't try.
Fernando Tatis
That's what he thinks, at least.
Jr.
There we go, on the board. Wish we could have got that with 2 runners on last inning, but good enough for now. Knicks won 114-89. Spurs won 134 to 132 in 2 games this season. Okay. I kind of thought the way that the Spurs and Wemby handled Chet, I kind of thought that they would beat Oklahoma a little bit more easily, but anytime I saw a box score, Wemby wasn't doing anything like insane in like most of the games. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the only reason why I'm like, there are probably ways to play it that the Knicks can work themselves into an advantage at times. In same game 1, yeah.
Here we go, Adrian.
I know he had some good games sprinkled in there, but it wasn't as like dominant throughout the whole series as I expected. Like beyond that, they have good players,
Number 36, Drew
but
Romo.
I mean, Wemby's like their number 1 option, right? If the number 1 option is that inconsistent against a guy who he bullies,
Nope, ball 1.
I don't know. I think the Knicks
Let's go, Adrian.
should have a reasonable
Nope,
chance.
that's a ball.
Or Jet's going to turn into Ben Simmons. Yeah.
Ball 3.
But that's like the only bad matchup for Chet, right? Like he dominates everybody else, from what I understand.
No, ball 4.
He just got to put on some muscle, I think.
The third baseman,
He might have to change his game. Like, I don't know if his game is built on being... Oh, come on. Sam failed me. He usually likes that lefty-lefty matchup.
Adrian.
I don't know if his game is like completely built around being skinny, but maybe he has to switch up his game a little bit.
Ball inside.
If he wants to get, they're going to keep this core together.
Nope.
Ooh, another
inside,
check.
Ball 2.
Oh, that was the pitch. Could have taken the lead right there.
Come on, Adrian. Strike him out.
Could have taken the lead right there. BCI is looking mighty big.
Strike him out. Let's go, baby.
All right, we got a little pressure on this time after doing nothing for most of the game. Oh, he just disappeared.
Leading off for Chicago.
49 pitches so far for Schultz. I feel like my opponent's seeing the ball pretty well, though. Yikes.
Get your horse, go, go, go.
Are you kidding me?
I can't believe the Bulls got a top 4 pick.
Nope.
That's what I'm excited about. If you're OKC, would you try again with basically the same team or panic and make moves to lose hope in Chet and get like Giannis? Man, I personally am
That's right, good eye.
I don't want to say I'm a Giannis hater, but I think he is not who people think he is as a teammate. I think stories have started to come out in like the last like few months, so it's less of a hot take now. But I've always been on that boat. And I think that one of the biggest parts about OKC specifically is that like they have a very cohesive game plan. And if you have a disruptor that comes in, like Giannis seems to me like the kind of guy who's not necessarily going to automatically be with the game plan. And so him specifically, I probably wouldn't get him. There are probably guys that you can plug in to swap out with Chet, because I would have to go back and look at numbers. To me, it seems like they could just get like a really authoritative rebounder
Ball. That's down.
Let's go.
and kind of be good to go.
Hey.
Someone that's just going to be more like reliable.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
What I would probably do though, is just back up Chet to get somebody who like literally, because I feel like you kind of do this in the for the teams that are the best, right? Like in baseball, you got your like not Ben Revere. Who's the Garrett? Jared Dyson. You got your like Jared Dysons.
You got this.
Anybody who's got like speed off the bench. You make these like little finishing moves to round off your team that's already been like pretty good. And they're just there. Like Kike Hernandez is on the Dodgers because he plays well in the playoffs. Can play multiple positions, all that kind of stuff. But you know what he's going to bring in the postseason. And that's why they keep him around. And so I think they just need a guy like that to kind of back up Chet and literally just be on the team to deal with Wemby in the playoffs. And that's it. Because I think they've proven throughout all the rest of their tests that Chet's probably good enough to beat everybody else. And I'm saying all this in like a very... I don't actually know the numbers behind what I'm saying. But conceptually, I think it's fair. If the numbers are true behind it. But it seems like they've kind of proven that they can handle everything else. And it's just this Wemby matchup that Chet cannot get over.
Ball. That's upstairs.
And so if you're good for the rest of the season, I'd say stay with Chet and find your one matchup. Bucks could have stayed good if they didn't go for Lillard, in my opinion. Also true. And I wonder how much Giannis had to do with that. Because Giannis seems like the kind of guy who, kind of like LeBron, doesn't really need another superstar, doesn't need a superstar. Obviously, we see what he did when he did have superstars. I think also LeBron's a little bit more adaptable. Better shooter. Especially as he got older. But I think Giannis, like, he just needs pretty much just 3-and-D guys around him. A good point guard.
Come on.
But even then, he can handle the ball. So, yeah, like, the Lillard thing, I don't know if Lillard just got old, but I think he's a little undersized too, right? So, like, his defense was getting exploited, all that kind of stuff. Drew Holiday, I think, was considered, like, one of the best backcourt defenders. So for a lot of reasons, probably why it didn't work out. Good in the regular season because of depth, but almost like MLB, depth doesn't matter as much as playoffs. Doesn't matter at all, just not as much.
The catcher, number 41, Victor
Definitely.
Hernandez.
Let's go, Victor.
I definitely agree. But at the same time, they have the MVP on their team. So it's not like they don't have a high peak either. Like, SGA is still that guy for them. So I'm also not necessarily, like, thinking that they need to have, like, another star on their team
Got him.
in order to get over the hump or get back to the peak. And the fact that, like, they still went 7 games with the Spurs. It's not like the Spurs actually dominated. To the point where you can just point at Chet and be like, he's the reason. Like, their system seems like it was good enough to work around it for just long enough, and they just need a little bit more. Maybe if they played another 7-game series, maybe they would win. So,
Hustle up.
not normally the guy who says this, but Wemby wanted the MVP so much that some of the series was, and I took that personally. Was that obviously, oh god, they won it in the end, but do you think that hurt them? Could they have won it a lot shorter? Is that what you're saying? Or because he wanted the MVP, that's what got them past OKC in 7?
Punch him out.
Or did it almost come back and bite them?
Him down.
Nope. That's inside.
Sit him down.
That's how I felt about Kevin Durant at the end of his Thunder days. People blame Westbrook for, like, when they blew the 3-1 lead.
Strike him out.
I think it was Durant.
Sit him down.
He was ball stopping.
Ball. Down.
Punch him out.
Got him to get that motivation to go off on game 1, which they needed all the games. Oh no. Not as good of a game in this one. Only 4 hits. Only gave up 6 hits, but Ian Happ destroyed me, apparently. We go again. Oh, you're saying, like, because they announced the MVP at that point? I see. And then it trickled out the rest of the way. Christopher Sanchez finally gave up a run after 50.2 innings. 50 and 2/3 innings. Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't go for Giannis. I wouldn't go for probably a star. It's kind of like some of the Denver teams before like Jokic was there. Before they had superstars. It was kind of like a team that was always in the playoffs. Like you said, they had depth, but they never really had the star. It was kind of like in between Carmelo and Jokic, I think, that period. I don't know if they had anybody at that point. Danilo Gallinari. But I think it's different because they have SGA on the team. One of the Williamses was injured, right? Or did they have everybody healthy?
The leadoff hitter this afternoon.
Nick Spurs already started.
Number 4, Dalen Lyle.
All right, well, we're back at home now. Hopefully we get the bats working again. Watched SGA lift the trophy before game 1 started. Gotcha. Yeah, it makes sense. Jalen Williams was injured. Averaging 17 points this season. He was like their second or third option, right?
Here we go, Michael.
I don't know. Seems like it could have been enough of a difference maker for his injury.
Oh, set him down!
Runner, he's tag him, tag him. 3. Come on.
It's interesting. Basketball's always got these, like, it almost feels like unnecessary trades. They're not necessarily unnecessary, but sometimes it just seems like they're moving guys around just because.
Come on, come on.
Somewhat to do with cap space, something to do with like contracts, stuff like that, but you never know what could happen. I mean, you even go back to like MJ. Didn't they like blow up the team kind of for no reason? Jerry Krause.
Nope, that's inside.
You never know.
Ball, that's off.
Baseball is just the Dodgers signed the top free agent and they're chilling. What do we think about the union, the CBA talk so far? I think the proposed cap was like 240 million. I feel like that would have been a good number in about 2010. I think at that time there were like maybe 4 teams spending 200 million.
Come on, Harold.
I don't know what the number is now.
Get on your.
But
You gotta be kidding me.
The first baseman, number 5.
I didn't see what the salary floor was. They were saying that the... Oh, there's a lot to say. They're saying they're going to lose like billions of dollars for the players if they do that. I think there's a pretty easy calculations that you can do based off of like, if you make the floor this much and the ceiling this much, all the salaries are within this range. and based off of that, your players are guaranteed this amount of money. That wouldn't necessarily limit the amount. And so, like, to me, that part is transparent. So anything that doesn't fit a certain range is, like, not good faith. Can you pull an Otani and defer everything? I think that's factored in somehow. I don't know how they've determined it, but I would imagine there's going to be guardrails around that too. Like, if you can obviously do the calculation and see what kind of minimum and maximum, like, players are going to be able to earn, and then you're not really getting anywhere close to that number, that sounds like bad faith negotiation, because it's very transparent. What do you do with the Dodgers? Are they just forced to do crazy trades? No, I would certainly, like, I think the only way you can do it is to more or less grandfather in, and you have to have, like, a multi-year plan. So even, let's say, if you did a cap, I think you have to do some kind of sliding scale, I don't think is the word, but you have to do, like, some kind of plan for the next, like, now until the next CBA. You start with this number, then you get to this number, and you more or less grandfather in the other teams. And then you say, like, the expectation is at the end of the CBA, your salary is going to look like this. And so they don't have to get rid of anything necessarily. But by the end of it, they have an expectation for what things should look like. And so, yeah, my opinion is, like, the only way you can do it, the only way you can, like, quote unquote, fix it to level things out is that you're not expecting to really fix it in the CBA. You're expecting to go down the path during the CBA, and then you can actually set the expectation at the end of the beginning of the next CBA. You Jerry Jones type who does insider moves knowing the cap will pass to grandfather in a team. Yeah. If I was to guess based off of, like, the last couple CBAs, it doesn't seem like they do that kind of thing where they are able to do, like, a path forward. It just ends up being, like, what's it going to look like tomorrow? And you certainly can't fix a salary cap issue in one day. Like, it has to have a progression. Even if that progression is, like, an increased salary luxury tax, so where they're not forced to get rid of the players, but also they're gonna kind of incur the penalty to the point where that penalty is distributed, evening things out. Kind of like that's where the money comes from for these increases. So it kind of works for itself. So it's not like there's money coming out of thin air. It's like, okay, you don't have to get rid of your players, but your salary tax, your luxury tax is increasing, and that increase is going to pay for these increased floors, things like that. So it all kind of works together. So that by the end of it, hopefully they can have a more level playing field, but that shouldn't be something that's expected next year. What do you think the new NBA draft lottery rules? I saw them briefly. Can you remind me what they are? It's like the lottery increases to 16 teams or something. And then if it's a lot to read out, I can look it up real quick.
Here we go, Drew.
New NBA draft lottery rules. 3, 2, 1. Oh no.
Unbelievable! Are you kidding me?
Batting eighth, the third baseman, Dan
14 to 16 flattens odds among teams that do not qualify for playoffs or tournament.
Ball.
3, 2, or 1 lottery ball for the drawings.
Inside ball.
3 worst records will be draft relegated. Lose one of their lottery balls.
All right, Sammy.
Unbelievable now.
The center fielder, number 27.
No team's pick will be permitted to be the first pick in 2 consecutive NBA drafts or top 5 in 3. I'm kind of skimming through the lottery ball part, so I'm not super sure exactly what that looks like, but I think I like the part about can't have a first pick in 2 NBA drafts, top 5 in 3. Feels like the top 5 in 3 consecutive is almost more significant. It's kind of hard to have like a number 1 pick and then still be the actually worst team. So I think I like that. Almost everybody gets equal odds except for the 3 worst teams and 2 play-in teams. Okay. Some teams are saying teams might tank to get into the lottery instead of making the play-in game. Wait, so the 2 play-in games, those are the people with 1 ball? Oh, it was different between like the 7 seed and the 10 seed, I think. Okay. For a second, I was thinking that if you got in the play-in, you also got a higher pick. Like you got 2 balls. And then people in the middle were getting like 1. That's the other tough part, is that I don't think anybody really views the play-in as like an opportunity to win the championship. Maybe the players do, but even then I think like half the players, veteran players, probably still don't. I think some young players getting into, like if you had the number 1 pick last year, let's say you improved by 10 games and then you have an opportunity for the play-in, I think it's valuable for your young guys, cornerstone players, to get playoff experience. But other than that, I don't think they really view it as like this is our path to win the championship. So getting in the play-in, other than maybe like you make money off of the play-in ticket sales kind of stuff, can't see like a front office really shooting for it. You might tank as like the Heat, knowing you're going nowhere, for 3 balls instead of getting 1 ball. Yeah, I think I agree with that. So I thought maybe you even incentivize the play-in by giving him an extra draft pick if you're that close. And then everybody close to, not extra draft pick, but extra lottery ball. So that everyone close to the play-in plays a little bit harder. And then really, the only people at the bottom are playing for the tank or the genuinely bad teams that can't win. I'm not sure if that would also cause problems. The play-in is more like, I don't know. You make a little extra money as the team. Your fans get to play another game, get to see another game. It is going to be hype, like it's winner takes all kind of stuff. The play-in itself is like not really the incentive, I would say. So I almost feel like that would be a good way to go about it. And I think there were there were some question marks before about like what if you do incentivize, what if you disincentivize being the worst team and you genuinely like are not good enough to be better than the worst team, and then you get punished for that.
Make it count.
I think I said this before, like if you are that bad that you can't get yourself out of the bottom seed, especially for like the 2 years in a row, like they're saying for these new rules, then you got to change up what you're doing, not rely on the draft pick. Just like sign a couple of like decent role players, and you're probably not going to be the worst team in the league. So I think there are ways you can be okay with disincentivizing the bottom. I think that's okay. And therefore, if you can help whatever's going on at the bottom of the standings, at that point, incentivizing the play-in with an extra lottery ball probably can work too, if both things are working at the same time. So, yeah, I don't really see the logic of the two balls kind of in the middle there. Because it's also like the Bulls are a good example of this, where they kept playing for the play-in, and then they got stuck at 500 for like a bunch of years in a row, until finally they literally had to just get rid of everybody and have 9 guards on the roster. Which, that's another thing that'll be interesting. Like for now, a lot of what you see with tanking ends up being like a coach thing, like on the court. Very obvious decisions. But I don't feel like you see quite as blatant like general manager tanking like the way that the Bulls did this year. I feel like you don't see that as often, and I feel like you'd see it a lot more with these kind of rules. So I think I would have liked to see like a little bell curve at the bottom. A little bit more bonus to whoever's at the very bottom, and a little bonus to whoever's kind of fighting for a play-in spot.
Let's go, Fernando.
Spurs will be the last team built on multiple years of top picks. Yeah. Kind of feels like it's... I don't know. I don't know if it's a good thing or not. This guy loves to take his time.
Ball, that's in.
Get down. Nice. Gotta stay at first on that one.
Nice rip.
Hey!
Kind of feels like if you had a draft pick in the top 5 like 3 years in a row, 3 years in a row, and you still haven't been able to turn it around, feels like you should no longer be in charge of a team or be part of a team. That's a home run. Cool. And we get the quit. Right back up to 750 after just half of a game to get back in there. Cool, cool. Yeah, I kind of feel like, not that they rolled over necessarily, but It didn't feel like they got as much out of the CBA last time in baseball as I thought they would. Because we were already kind of seeing like this salary cap stuff pop up by then. They didn't really address it then, and it just got worse. NBA is very star-centric, so if you don't get that star, chances are you won't go far, at least if you're in the West. I agree, but then, like, if you already got 2, like, of the top 5 picks in consecutive years, I would think that you should have found the guy, right? It's very draft dependent, but at the very, very top, I feel like you're always going to have an opportunity for a guy like that. But maybe not. Maybe that's not always true. Don't feel like Cooper Flag is a level of guy, but maybe I'm wrong. He had a lot of like rookie records, didn't he? I didn't actually watch him play, but I feel like after the first month or two, it seemed like he was breaking a lot of rookie and like teenager records. The only reason he doesn't seem like that guy is because he wears a white undershirt.
All day, let's go.
That's my hot take. At the same time, they got Cooper Flag by luck, and then also they didn't even get to hang on to Anthony Davis. And then I think Nico got fired, I believe.
That's ball 4.
I don't think he's with the team anymore. NBA is interesting too, because like very clearly got fired midseason. Dang. Very clearly the NBA has some kind of, I don't want to call it script, but like ever since I think it was the Chris Paul to LA trade got blocked like 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. Ever since that happened, it was like there's too much power in the commissioner's office. I think football had that problem with like suspension issues. There were like some weird arbitrary suspensions for a long time in the NFL. Baseball, what would you say the equivalent is? The NBA, it's like the trades, and then you could say the refs, maybe. I don't know.
Ball 1.
Good take.
Between on the spectrum of like whether the NBA is rigged or not, I'd say it falls slightly closer to the rigged side. That's my personal opinion. I think it plays out like there's no like hard.
Ball 3.
It's not like a hard rig, but I think they softly nudge everything to a certain direction for sure. Implementing all sorts of new rules, some good and some bad. True.
Are you kidding me?
I agree, but I don't know that that's like. I guess my question was more of like overreach, and like unfair power being delivered, because I think the rules all come from the owners, right? Would you say that then, like the MLB is much more of an owner has, the owners in general have too much power kind of league? Because on some level, like, all the commissioners work for the owners of their sport.
Leading off for the squad, the designated hitter, Ellie De La Cruz.
Don't know if the ghost runner rule or the pitch clock came from the owners. They just happen. Oh, really? I guess I'd have to look more into like how that stuff happens. My understanding was that the owners kind of get the final vote.
Sit him down.
Here's one. Spider Tack. I don't know how that one came about exactly. Like, we all know, like, why it came about with, like, I think it was Trevor Bauer who was talking about it. And then that month at the beginning of the year, like, there were, like, 6 no-hitters or something like that. And so it kind of made sense how it happened, but then, like, in terms of actually cracking down, I don't know who made that happen. If it was the commissioner, if it was the owners, or what. But it was like kind of a mid-season thing. Players didn't really get a warning, and then all these injuries happened. I was going to bring up Trevor Bauer, but for him getting suspended, that too.
Ball, that's just out.
His suspension, yeah, that was definitely the commissioner, and that was a little bit personal too, because he had talked some smack on the commissioner. And then when all that stuff happened, then, like, more or less, probably he deserved the suspension. But it was, like, a lot... it seemed a lot more arbitrary than some other similar situations. The public was more fine with that one, yeah. That's a weird one too, because the public was fine with it. One, because he was like smug about it. Two, because I think anyone else who would have been in that situation, the public would have also been fine with it. Very vague domestic abuse policy, especially the NFL. Especially, there was like a long period of time. What I was kind of getting at was the domestic violence. You get like 4-game suspension. And then the same for like testing positive for marijuana. That was like very strange. The MLB one, I think like people were fine with it, but they also would have been fine if anybody else who was in that situation in a domestic violence case would have gotten suspended for as long as he did. It's just that like his actually stuck because the commissioner didn't like him. And then because he was so smug, then there was like that player to fan interaction, which kind of like added on to it. And then him getting blackballed out of the league. It's a little bit weird in that, like, it could have been the same situation for many other players who got arrested for domestic violence and then didn't get the same punishment. And it's weird that the one guy who did get what probably a lot of people were asking for from the other guys, punishment-wise, the only reason he got it was because, like, the commissioner didn't like him. People don't really care about getting blackballed besides the suspension. Yeah, also true.
No, that's low.
just an a-hole to ownership, it would be different. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it just kind of fed itself, which is what I'm saying. Like, there were so many other factors to it, which makes it weird on a lot of levels on like how it played out, because it was more than just the facts of like what happened. It ended up being like an emotional thing in like 6 different directions. And otherwise it like could have been, I don't know. You could kind of say it could have been a blueprint for how the rest of domestic violence issues would have been treated in the MLB, but there was so much baggage in that situation that it couldn't really like just one-to-one apply to the next situation. Strongest player union, so it's never going to be like NFL, NBA. When it comes to overreach, what do you think makes them have the strongest player union? Is it because of the longevity of the players?
Let's go.
I think NFL generally has the shortest span. NBA, though, I would think, for how star central it is, they should have more power. But maybe also because it's not as old of a league.
Come on, come on.
No!
There you go. Harold Baines getting another one.
Go, baby, go!
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
MLB overreach is screwing over players in the minors and the weird rules about FA eligibility. Absolutely. And I really thought, like,
All right, let's
that was the number one thing that I thought was going to be addressed in, like, the last CBA or even maybe the previous CBA before that. I was kind of really surprised that it barely got addressed. Like, they did change up the team control stuff a little bit in the last one. But I think there's still some loopholes going on. And then, like, yeah, the fact that the salaries are so weird, because it's like, if you doubled all the minor league players' salaries to the point where, like, they're making a living wage and could actually, like, contribute to, like, focusing on baseball year round. The fact that you could just, like, double it and, like, not really have it affect your pockets, and that doesn't happen, is really crazy to me. Plus the fact that, like, didn't a bunch of minor league teams get shut down about 5 years ago? And it all kind of happened at once. I think it was, like, COVID related. But it was kind of like sweeping across the whole league. And so you don't want that to happen either as, like, a result of it. Because sometimes, like, you can make a rule, but then to the point where the person's like, oh, well, this just isn't worth it for me anymore if I have to, like, do it this way. It doesn't make me enough money.
Ball one.
In the short term sometimes. Because even, like, you could say that. You could say, oh, now I'm paying an extra $2 million for my minor league teams. That's going to lose me $2 million. I might as well, like, shut the team down or something along those lines. But then they don't see it as, like, hey, if you're paying this much more, you're going to get more value when these guys are able to make it to the major leagues. Whatever, like some kind of long-term thought process. And I don't know. I don't know what can be done about that. It's probably a bigger economic conversation. Problem with CBAs is they're for the current roster. Current roster doesn't care anymore when they already came up, like with NFL bringing down the salaries of drafted players or not worrying about giving vets health insurance. Yeah, absolutely. Ooh. But I would think they have representatives. Yeah, they probably have representatives lobbying for that kind of stuff, and then it probably ends up being the last thing on the priority list where it's like, yeah, if we can get this, great, but it probably ends up being the first thing on the chopping block.
Oh, that's off the plate.
And then obviously the minor league players themselves don't have that much leverage. Minor league player union. Another crazy thing on top of that is like signing bonuses for draft picks. I feel like there's a huge disparity between like what a number 1 draft pick gets and then like the salary of the whole rest of their team. I think I understand that that's probably also a leverage thing in that like if you're not giving them the signing bonus, then they have no reason to accept your draft pick. I think the only way they could get around that would be like if you draft someone, then you hold on to them, you hold on to their rights forever, even if they like decide not to come to the team this year. But do you want to wait the extra 4 years at that point? Or do you want to just pay them? So I guess that's also a part of the factor. Because you could, even if you solve that rights part, you wouldn't really solve the question of like them not signing. You still can force them to sign necessarily.
You got this.
Just like that, the game is tied. Back-to-back homers to start the 5th. Quintana was rolling otherwise. Yeah, I don't know how they solved that minor league situation either. If they even consider it to be a situation.
Strike him out.
Come on, come on. Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen ASG. Who is it? Jacob Turner? Is that him? Former like relief pitcher. He's got a YouTube channel that I think he kind of recently started within the last year, kind of explaining some of how finances work. I think he is now like a financial advisor for like MLB players, stuff like that. But so he has some videos going into like the reality of finances and like life experiences of major league players. I think I've only watched maybe one video and it was really good, kind of breaking down shoot, I don't even remember the topic exactly of what he talked about, but it was a really good video. And I feel like he'd be a good guy to get some insights from that kind of stuff, and maybe he's already got videos on that kind of thing. I just haven't checked. I haven't seen his stuff lately. I'll watch like Trevor May videos when they pop up. A couple, like I'll watch some of his long forms. I see a decent amount of his long, short form videos. And then, what else do I usually see? Well, AJ Przinsky, but he's got like his whole podcast with Eric Kratz and Scott something. Braun. Yo, what up, Matt? How you doing, man? We're talking CBAs. Yeah, but I like to see kind of the wide range. I also now I watch Dan Blewett's YouTube channel, but that's because he does softball content so I can learn how to play softball.
The batter, number 5, second baseman.
Get up, ball. 83 miles an hour.
Leading off for Milwaukee, the center fielder, Marte.
One thing I find interesting, the former White Sox catcher who went to the Blue Jays, Zach Collins. For some reason, I thought he played a lot more for the White Sox and for the Blue Jays than he had, but he only really got like, I think he only played like 100 or 200 games.
That's out.
And then someone pointed out like a year or two ago, maybe even longer than that. Now he's like a licensed real estate. What's it called?
Up next for the Squawk, the
Real estate guy,
24, Miguel
broker,
Cabrera.
agent, real estate agent. Yeah, there you go. Oh no, that's Luis Robert selling. Literally anybody else in center field will make that play.
The batter, number 44,
It was just a little shocking, like how
De La Cruz.
even making it to the major leagues, I guess wasn't enough, but also like real estate agents like a little bit different. It's one of the more like flexible situations, all that kind of stuff. Probably helps to have a little bit of money to keep you going in between like dry spells.
Strike him out. You can't be serious.
I think the most surprising part about it is that like he didn't take more of a break
Hey, stay
between like retiring, like getting into the real world.
Drop it.
Still playing the show must be a good game, right? Yeah, exactly. Top men's curler went to the Olympics, was a real estate agent too. There you go. And some of the best pitchers in the World Baseball Classic are electricians.
Kidding me?
Yeah, still playing the show. MLB The Show Mobile came out. And they have a lot of stuff in MLB The Show Mobile that I've been asking for a long time in MLB The Show. And I think we were talking about it like right before it happened. Yo, Jackie has been a moderator for 5 years, celebrating my 5-year mod anniversary. That's crazy. What up, Jackie? Happy anniversary to you. I know of it, but I don't know anything about it. So yeah, I was on vacation when it came out, so I was playing it while I was on vacation. Really haven't played it since I got back, so maybe that tells you everything you need to know. Actually, I did play it yesterday, just like right before bed. And yeah, so for the stuff that I've been asking of MLB The Show console for the last few years, new game modes, new ways to use your roster. Don't give up home runs to Mickey Mantle. Probably should have taken Quintana out. A 3-3 game. He got 6 innings for me. Now he's not going to even end up with a quality start. And then like new game modes, new ways to use your roster. They do have a battle pass on there. And as soon as you get into the game, they're like,
Let's go, Blake.
you get this card, but they will disappear from your lineup when the 2027 update happens. That's interesting. Like is it actually like a game, or is it like a version of the game? There are, I'll put it this way, like if you've played other mobile MLB games, it feels like an MLB The Show game. At certain points, like animations and stuff like that, feels like MLB The Show. But then like everything else is like pretty much different. The hitting input is very mobile, but it's like decent. You like press the button and then you hold it and swipe around to aim your bat. And then you let go to swing. And then there's technically no PCI. It's just like a bat contact, like Pro Spirits or something like that, like or other mobile games. But then there's also like a little aura around your bat, so it kind of does act like a PCI. But I think it's very much concentrated towards your actual barrel. It's not exactly zone hitting either. And then beyond that, like the game modes, there's nothing more than a 3-inning game. There's no 9-inning games there. And most of what you're doing is like you're plopped into moments, basically. It's all PvE, but you're going like head-to-head PvE. So your squad is going up against someone else's squad, but you're playing against them. You're playing against the computer using their team, but then you're also going back and forth. I think I might have been able to tag the bag first and then go to second. I don't know. You're going against the computer controlling their team, but then you also go back and forth. So like you both play the same game mode. There's like all these like little mini games basically. You play the same game mode. Whoever gets the higher score wins that game. And then you play like a 3-game series of mini games against that person. And then whoever wins the series wins. That's another thing I've been asking for. Like make it more like baseball where, okay, you got RNG sometimes, but let us play like a series somehow. Make it more like baseball. If there's going to be enough RNG, make it so that like losses make more fit more into the way that standings and rewards and stuff work. I'll be getting playing Pro Spirits when it comes out. Have you played like the free one so far? That one's cool too. It doesn't have any licensing, but it's the same game as what the new Pro Spirits is gonna be. Just without the like real players and game modes and stuff. The game engine is the same, I should say. It's cool. Some parts are annoying, but it's pretty fun. Free version is like online only. Yeah, you might be right. There's an exhibition mode, but I think it just might be like you're playing games. Like there's no progression on your exhibition mode. So yeah, there's no like Road to the Show and stuff like that on this mode. But yeah, that one will have like the high school mode and everything like that. There's a little bit of like offline gameplay, but yeah, not a ton of progression with your offline high school thing. Yeah, that seems pretty cool. So yeah, that's the MLB The Show mobile. It's got a lot of that stuff, like I mentioned, is what I've been asking for in this game. So the thing that's really annoying is that like tangibly you can really tell the fact that the console game got worse over the last couple of years, specifically in content. Like you can tell they put less effort into it. It's very, very obvious. And so we were kind of talking about this last stream or the stream before. I was like kind of okay with it, thinking that they're building like the new era of content in the console game. But when it came out that very clearly all the effort went into the mobile game, that's kind of embarrassing. And so unless like next year's content in the console game proves that they were doing both, they were really working on the mobile content and also console content, unless that comes to fruition in MLB 27, I think it's kind of sad. Just saw a great Chicago tweet. Oh boy. Great Chicago tweet could be horrible for Chicago. Don't see a big difference in the past several years, besides updated presentation. Yeah. Content-wise especially has been very significantly steps back, which is like their best. That's the crazy part, is like the thing that set them apart, other than maybe like being the most anti-pay to win, no money spent friendly game, The other thing that set them apart was their content for most people. And so to back off of that is kind of crazy. Why don't the Bears make... Go foul. Thank you. $6. Why don't the Bears make a $6 billion Kalshi bet against that they're not going to use the winnings and that where they're not going and use the winnings to finance the stadium? That's big brain. Oh, also low-key, back onto the topic of being a Giannis hater. I think it was hilarious that he started creating his own rumors about getting traded and then announced that he was going to be a part owner of Kalshi the next day. That's legal now, Matt.
Come on, Goose.
Yeah, I don't really know what they're doing with this game. You can still hold out hope that like maybe they're gonna learn from the mobile game, see what works and doesn't work, like using it as a testing ground, then being able to implement the best parts of it into the game.
Here we go, Rich.
I don't know if there's enough overlap in the market, what they're targeting. Like, for instance, if the mobile game was really intended to target like different markets, like outside of the United States, because mobile markets are like very like you can make a lot of money in mobile markets, and they may not have access unless they go free to play with a mobile game. So there's a lot of reasons why it makes sense. My question is, like, do they make a lot more margin on the mobile game to the point where like they have to focus on it so much because it's going to make them like 10 times more money? There's like a lot of questions behind that where I'm like wondering if this game gets even worse because of the mobile game. You need a gaming phone now to compete with the console players, right? Oh, I missed that ball. I thought I had that absolutely locked down. That's tough. Need the license of the 4 major sports in terms of you can't make a fun, arcadey, non-licensed game that people care about. Okay, so football-wise, are you talking about like, what's it called? The Mutant game? What's that one called?
Here we go, Ray. Let's go, Ray.
I feel like NFL Blitz was so good, but that was still NFL, right? It was licensed. There's like a mutant football game that came out, like the sequel or whatever recently. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Backyard Baseball. Backyard Baseball drops like in a month or something. I do feel like it's gonna kind of flop a little bit. I feel like they're gonna like have a lot of people buy it, but I don't know if it's gonna have staying power.
Come on, Goose.
Same with Super Mega Baseball. These are all like niche games. Like some people absolutely love it. Some people go pro in it or whatever. But it's very niche. Same with Out of the Park. Same with, well, Out of the Park's still licensed. And now like even Super Mega has some licensing. Pablo in the stands and the announcers didn't know who he was. Oh no. I did not see that. Let me put it this way. I think there were...
Come on, Goose. Let's
This
go,
is just
Goose.
me wondering. It's not... I might be wrong. I could be totally wrong. It feels to me like the peak of non-licensed baseball games were still pretty high. Like, peak backyard baseball as kids was elite.
That's it. All day, let's go.
was there an equivalent non-licensed MLB or NBA or NFL game like that? I think you could do Blitz Jam without the license and still be good. You're probably right, but like, I don't know. We don't have proof. We have the proof of backyard baseball. I don't know. Played a lot of non-licensed sports games on NES and kind of on SNES.
Unbelievable!
It's a different era now too. It's just a different era of video games. I don't know if anything can last without a license. Everything's so either saturated or like Fortnite. You got to have a little bit of everything in there. Like you could go Fortnite baseball in the sense that instead of licensing players, you license characters. And you're doing these like new characters all the time, but they're just playing baseball. But at that point, like those licenses probably cost more than the baseball licenses. So, what would be the point? Probably would sell. I just don't know. I don't know what the difference in cost of those licenses would be. Don't know. Don't know. Okay, it was already 800. We're down to 726 again. Pick and choose based on cost, yeah. I would buy a better version of a Road to the Show that had no licensed players if it just focused on the part of that part of the game, but then they wouldn't make transaction money. Yeah. Absolutely. Mobile 2 is like there's such a culture of microtransactions that like they just don't have on mobile. And by the way, like they do have some weird pricing on certain things in this mobile game, but at the same time, it's still not really pay to win in my opinion. So even still in the mobile game, they're kind of sticking with that mentality. That was kind of interesting to see. I thought there would be a lot more because I've played some MLB games. 9 innings. No, what's the other one? Perfect Inning. Perfect Inning has some crazy monetization, and to get like players that actually like super outperform everything else, you have to pay like hundreds of dollars. And then there's a lot of randomizations going on. There's a little bit of like they have little bits of that in MLB The Show mobile, but they're actually like kind of reasonable and kind of fun. Like for instance, when you parallel a card, you spin a wheel basically, and you get like some random attribute boosts. And then when you hit parallel 5, this is the cool part, is that when you hit parallel 5, you get to re-roll your attribute boosts. And there's like different tiers from like common to diamond. So you can get kind of a mid, like a low level attribute boost, or you can randomly get like a super, even on parallel 2, you could get a diamond attribute boost. And then all of a sudden your card's even better. And then once you get to parallel 5 and you get like new levels of XP, like you've got your 10,000 PXP already, then you get another 2,000 PXP. You get to re-roll one of your attribute boosts. So I think that's kind of cool. What do you think of the new God of War announcement? You mean God of War Debran Wall? I think it's interesting that like obviously an actor can play like whatever, hundreds of characters in their life, and that's like, okay, they're playing a different character and it feels like a different character every time. But I kind of hate when a likeness of a character in a video game looks exactly like their voice actor, like it's played by someone in real life. Even though that person plays a bunch of different characters in real life, once they like look like a video game character, I find it super annoying. That's the only thing I could think of. And I watched like, yeah, exactly. That was the other one I was thinking of. Cal Kestis. And yeah, I think that one. I think also the girl in Battlefront 2. Yeah, I can't stand it. God of War 2 did that with the West Wing guy. Who was in West Wing? But yeah, like I for some reason I can't get over that. So I watched like 2 minutes of the announcement, and I don't know if I'll be able to play it because of that. But I tried not to like understand any of what was happening in the story. I wasn't sure if it was a prequel or a later part. Oh, with Odin, gotcha. Yup. 4 to 5 tries, but finally made a baseball team that wasn't rebuilding. 1972 all was having Barry Bonds, Ted Williams, and Max Scherzer to only wins 90 games. That's crazy. I guess you have to have a lot more depth, a lot more opportunities for the randomness to hit you at the bottom of your lineup and stuff. I am going to play one more game, but I'm going to take a break for a minute. What did you think, Matt? Any winners out of PlayStation Days of Play and all that kind of stuff? I think Wolverine also got an announcement. Seemed like there's some good stuff happening. I'll be right back in like 2 minutes. My bad. I did mute before I walked away. Yeah. I didn't say anything of value. ASG's playoff team. John Bateman, George Sisler, Ozzie Albies, Wayne Garrett, Luke Appling, Barry Bonds, Max Scherzer, Ted Williams, Andy Carl, Frank Viola, Cliff Floyd. Interesting.
Leading off this afternoon, the shortstop,
Yeah, I was trying to think of what the 007 game I used to play with my cousin
Ellie
was called. Agent Under Fire. I think that was the one. I think it was a PS2 game. Yeah, that's what I said when I was muted. I was like, there's a game that we used to play. It wasn't GoldenEye, though. That's what I said when I was muted. Yeah, Agent Under Fire. PS2, yeah. We went back and played it one time, and the controls were really weird. And like
Come on, Sean.
yeah, it was like 10 years later since we hadn't played it. Since we had played it last, and we tried it, and the controls were so weird, we gave up on it in like 5 minutes. But I don't know if like our controls had reset and they weren't actually like that, or what was going on. But we were so grossed out, we just gave up. We had some good times on that one. Played that with friends. Had a fun story mode too.
Let's go, Shawty.
Felt that way about GoldenEye last time I played. Yeah. That one too, that was like, you didn't really aim, right? That was the issue with the cheat code guy. Forget his name. But like, he was too short, so you just shoot over his head. Odd Job, yeah.
Strike him out.
Ooh, snagged by Murakami and gonna take it himself. Nice. One hit kill weapon built in no matter what. That's crazy. You know what I'm excited for? Toy Story 3. I think it's a remaster. Who throws a shoe? Anybody facing George Bush? Toy Story 3, I think it's a remaster. Remaking like all the games. But then I think that package is also going to have Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2. We streamed Toy Story 2 already. I don't think I ever finished Toy Story 3. And I used to play Toy Story 1 all the time when I was little too. I think that was the first like video game I ever got. On PC. When I was a PC gamer kid. But I also I got that for my birthday. And then I had a tantrum during my birthday. And I broke a cabinet door in front of all my friends. Then I got grounded and couldn't play the Toy Story game for like 2 weeks after I got it. So I need some redemption. His name was Random Tasks. Odd Job parody. Odd Job threw his hat, so the guy threw a shoe. Ah. Makes sense. That was a bomb from Murakami, by the way. And then on top of that, the real deal maker for me in the package of Toy Story games. There's also like a Toy Story racing game or something in there. But on top of that, it comes with Bug's Life. And if Bug's Life is remastered, I am in there. Cause I was just thinking about that game like 2 days ago. There was a time when I was younger where like we lost our Bug's Life game. It like got stuck in a case somewhere, and then we couldn't find it for like 2-3 years. And we finally found it. And this happened a couple times on a few different games for me. But I was on the last level, and I never beat the last level of Bug's Life. And then we finally found it, and we were finally able to beat it. What was another? Rayman 3. I think it was 3. Hoodlum. Mayhem? What was it called?
Let's go, Sean.
It was Hoodlum something. And that disc got scratched while I was on the final level in that game. And then we literally bought it again. Probably should have done a rental. But I don't think I realized it was the last level, so we bought it again. So we could beat it. And then realized it was the last level. Peak nostalgia for you, 100%. Disney games were so hard back in the day intentionally so you couldn't do a one-time rental and beat it. I did not know that. Never played the Rayman games? Rayman was great. Some of those games, I don't know if I would want to go back and like what happened with Agent Under Fire. I wouldn't want to go back and then realize like it's not as fun. Just live in the memory of it. But Rayman's one of those games where I'd like go back. Actually, I did go back and play Rayman, not super recently, but maybe 10 years after I had played it originally, and it held up for sure. I loved Spyro. I never owned a Spyro game, but I had like a couple cousins that had Spyro games, a couple friends that had Spyro games. So I'd always play it when I went to their house. That'd be like the first game I would ask to play. Spyro 1 and 2 remakes, nice. Echo the Dolphin took so little effort to make games fun. Yeah, I think one of my other cousins had that. I remember wanting to play that game. Rayman was cool. It was like there were original Rayman games which were like 2D. Those were cool, and then that Rayman 3 game was a 3D game. Might have even been called like Rayman 3D or something.
Let's go, Sam.
Yeah, Bugs Life, Rayman, and then we didn't lose the game, but Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. That game, we couldn't beat the last level for a long time. And then we went back to it like, feels like 10 years later, but at that age probably was like 5 years or something. And we went back and like immediately beat it on the first try. It was just like we didn't know we had to like use the rocks on the pillars to hit Voldemort. So we would just run around and like it just wouldn't do anything.
Let's show 'em.
Crash Bandicoot, I love Crash. That was another game I like to play at my friends. Crash Racing especially. Jack and Dexter I never played much of, like maybe once or twice. What else did I play at my cousins and my friends? Me and my cousin used to trade games all the time. There's a Stuart Little. Was it Stuart Little 2? There's a Stuart Little game that was super fun. We played a lot of those movie games. Ratchet and Clank, I liked the one I played. I think the one of them's like free on the PlayStation Plus if you ever get your PlayStation 5. I think I got one of those, but I've never played it. It's just been sitting in the inventory. The first Ratchet and Clank. It's too cartoony for me, gotcha.
Get two.
NBA Street Volume 2. It was a licensed game, obviously, but that was one of those like elite arcade games. NFL Street was great too. Newest one looks cool, yeah. Yeah, like I got it. I haven't played it, but I would play it. There's just so many other games in front of it, and like I've kind of resigned to the fact that I'm never going to get to most of these games anymore.
Finish him.
Number one, because like anytime I do get on, I just want to play multiplayer like most of the time.
Yeah.
And so I'll play some kind of competitive game. And now that I'm not like really playing video games,
Up next for the
like I've played video games like 3 times in the last month, and all 3 of them were on stream.
crowd.
I don't think I've played anything off stream in a while. Trying to get healthy. Trying to play some sports. It's literally the only reason. Well, not the only reason, but that's literally the number 1 reason. And so like here and there, I will probably like play a game that gets me hyped. Like if the Ninja Turtle games comes out, then like I'll probably play it. And then there's gonna be all these other games that I'm like, I want to play that game, and then I'm just never gonna get to it. I haven't thrown a bear down pitch all day, and maybe that's why I'm 2-2. Dude, what's up, Greg? Food. We should invent a new version of Marco Polo, but it's just dude food. What was your favorite game growing up, Greg? There's this game, I don't remember if we talked about this, but there's this game like Commandos that I played at like my grandparents' house when I was 6 years old. I think it was like one of my uncles had left it. So I played it when I was there, and it's super fun. Kind of like tactical, like kind of take turns, move around the map, do your objectives. And I think I found it on Steam finally. I was looking for it somewhat recently. But I don't know if I pulled the trigger on buying it, and I definitely haven't played it. But that would be fun. Favorite video game? Yeah, growing up. We were just talking about like the state of play and some of the remake reveals and all that kind of stuff. I was talking about the Toy Story games because I'm looking forward to that. The Bugs Life game especially. I would love to see some of these games remastered. And the funny thing is, like, I would probably play those games above like some of these new games that are actually coming out. I think I would get nostalgia baited probably faster than hyped up for a lot of these other ones. You don't have any idea how hard it is to pick one game? Absolutely. That's why we put out 17 each. So feel free to drop the list. What age do we define growing up? We have no definition. It is completely arbitrary. Especially because, like, we're talking about games that we played at one point, and now I also still want to play. So, clearly. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Yeah, yeah. Roller Coaster Tycoon. Good choice, good choice. Age of Empires 2. My growing up best game is Chrono Trigger. Sounds familiar, but I don't know if I know anything about it. Donkey Kong Country. Oh yeah, I played a lot of Mario games. Wait. Oh, that was another game in the Toy Story set. Was the Buzz Lightyear Star Command game. That was cool. I played a lot of Mario on Game Boy Advance. I missed the Game Boy Advance days. That was a time. It's an RPG. Okay. SimCity. I think I have the least overlap with Greg's favorite games growing up. I don't think I played any of them growing up. Although, like, if I had played them, I probably would have enjoyed them. Rogue Squadron, really? I think I tried to play that, not super recently. But I think when I tried to play it like crashed. So I wasn't able to get very far. Microsoft Bob? Very PC based. Donkey Kong is a fool if he thinks he's wearing a tie. If he thinks wearing a tie will earn him respect. Minesweeper, yeah, there you go. I played a lot of pinball actually. I never like a lot of people. I never understood Minesweeper growing up until I was older. But I played a butt ton of pinball. And then I played a lot of like those learning games. Jumpstart first grade, I think I played a bunch of. There was shoot, what else did I play? Reader Rabbit. Reader Rabbit was a G. That ball's a home run. That ball never got above the fence. Ooh, Math Blaster. There's a throwback. I think that's the one that my cousin had. Oh no, I had this one.
Holy cow! Take charge!
The batter number 7,
Wait, was Math Blaster like the game that they gave you?
McGonigal.
Shoot, where did I play this?
Let's go, Sean!
Did you guys ever do like raising money for St. Jude's Children's Hospital? And then like they gave you a video game to play. And then based on like how well you did on the video game, people had to donate to you. First of all, what the heck was that? And also like some of those games were pretty fun. A lot of people say Looney Tunes was their introduction to classical music. Super Solvers did that to me. I'll have to look up Super Solvers too. That looks familiar. But Jumpstart first grade for sure was up there, and then Reader Rabbit. I think those were like my main learning games. Math Blaster. None of these like screenshots look familiar to me. Ooh, this one looks a little bit more familiar. I'm also like, as I'm looking at some of these screenshots that don't look familiar, they're also like reminding me of some game I'm thinking of in the back of my head that I can't quite like. I remember the vibes, and one of those like actually like triggered like a memory of something like in my head for a brief moment, but it's gone. Oh no. Tie up the game on that one. Hey, it's the song from Fantasia. Yeah, that had quite the soundtrack. There's Drew Romo from the knee and got him. I'm looking at all these Math Blaster screenshots. Shoot, man. Let's see what Super Solvers look like. Okay, I think Super Solvers. Yeah, this like Einstein looking guy. This is the one that my cousin had that I would play at her house. That's what I was thinking of. Super Solvers is what I was thinking of when I saw Math Blasters. But
Here we go, Drew.
yeah, that's how we be learning. PBS Kids and Reader Rabbit.
Third baseman,
Drop it. Oh, come on now.
Square One on TV. That doesn't sound familiar to me. I wonder how much time I spent playing these games as a kid. Because I have, like, a lot of memories of playing these, like, educational games. Like, a lot. But I also feel like I also feel like my parents didn't let me like spend that much time on the computer. Now I'm kind of wondering, I never thought about this before. I'm kind of wondering if did I spend like all weekend playing video games, like these educational games when I was little? Because there was one point, like by the time I got to the time I actually had like real video games, like Mario and stuff, we had a hard time limit. It was basically like 30 minutes a day on the weekends only. So I'm wondering if that was the case even before I got to like Mario. Or was I just playing these games all the time and doing nothing else? Because PBS Kids ended by like 6 o'clock. Core memory of watching Bill Nye the Science Guy and it perfectly lining up with my science curriculum that year. Nice. You must have been way ahead of the game. Either way ahead or just like everything was probably sticking because you were getting reinforcement. Bill Nye on TV, I never watched, but we would watch it in class all the time. Go Ray Durham, Oppo Taco. Taking the lead in the bottom of the sixth. Tried to backdoor me with the cutter.
Here we go, Harold.
Reinforcement's a good way of saying it, yeah. You get to like, you learn it during the day and then just like, instead of doing having to do homework, you're just watching Bill Nye. I watched, when I was watching PBS Kids at my peak, it was like Arthur, Zoom, Dragon Tales.
Nope.
That's right.
I feel like Sesame Street was like a morning show. That was like before I was in school.
Drop it.
Like Sesame Street, Barney, those like early morning shows. Not as much. Cyber Chase. Cyber Chase was the one. Cutter's my pitch of can never throw because every time I do against the CPU, outside of the CPU, they hit a nuke. Yeah. And sometimes you get away with it. Sometimes it's the worst pitch in the game. Sucks because the cutter like actually gives you a bigger PCI on certain locations.
Here we go, Fernando.
Obviously, like the opposite of throwing a slider, you get PCI shrinkage. We talk a lot less about PCI growage, even though there's certain pitches like the sinker that get demolished because of it. Maybe I should have kept Bummer for lefty, but at least there's one lefty coming up.
Come on, Aaron.
Square One was this PBS math show where there was like a variety show. Every segment was about math, but also a parody of something I probably didn't even know the original of. Gotcha. That's so funny to think of like, well, maybe it's easier to get a blueprint when you're using parodies like that. But for instance, like if you're watching a Disney movie or whatever, there's a lot of references for the adults watching. Versus on a kid's show, I don't know, I feel like that's where like the adult kind of walks away. They're not necessarily watching with the kid. So it's interesting to think of like, I wonder if they put all that effort in for the adults watching, but they weren't actually watching. And then like nobody's getting the references. I wonder where I would be without like educational media like that. Games and shows.
Off the plate, ball one.
As like a kid, I haven't talked a long time. Now that I'm not in school anymore, I don't have to think about freaking school. But obviously, I like really hated school. But because I hated school, I thought I hated learning. So anything that was like active learning, I didn't like doing. And so all this passive learning, I was always down for. Like I didn't feel like when I was little, I didn't ever feel like I was missing out on video games or missing out on TV by watching educational stuff. I have 9 strikeouts in this game. Other than the fact that like it was kind of uncool to be watching that stuff at a certain age. It pretty much was like, I don't think that part ever bothered me. Like, I enjoyed the stories behind the PBS Kids shows, and the games were fun. So the fact that I was so resistive to learning otherwise, I wonder if I would just be like the dumbest kid if I didn't have that. The effort was like, if it's a parody of this, it has to be kind of entertaining. Because the base idea is entertaining, just for their own longevity and stuff. Makes sense. Wishbone was not really on PBS. They like brought it back a little bit. For a short period of time. So I watched it a little bit, and I from what I remember, I like always really wanted to watch it, and it would never, like, it didn't have like a regular schedule or whatever. So it was always really hard to watch it.
Now pitching. Zach Britton.
Unbelievable!
Up next for the move, the center fielder, number 27, Mike.
Let's go now, Big Z! Sweet!
I've already caught one runner stealing. Let's see if they try to steal again.
Let's go, Zach.
There they go. Liner inside. Drew Romo from the knee. Doesn't get him this time.
Unbelievable! Unbelievable! Put him away! That's ball 3.
Uh-oh. Tatis, not a good jump. Which means that guy's going to get to second base. That's the worst part about it. Zach Britton, I think, has been my best reliever so far this year. And he's getting hit around a little bit. Oh, no. That's very bad. I'm going to take the lead here. Lefty, lefty. Good swing. That was a perfect swing. Very quickly that game turns around. I thought, like, I was even thinking, oh, this is a waste of Zach Britton to use him in the 8th. I should just, like, close with him or something. And it turns out he could not hold it down. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to score. Corbin Burns still in the game.
Come on! Come on!
I feel like I should pinch hit here.
Let's go, La Pantera.
I'm going to do it.
Inside,
now.
ball 1.
Dobie it is. I have 3 lefties on the bench, unfortunately, and a lot of lefties in the lineup. But Dobie's the man. 1 pitch, 1 home run. Does it help that Corbin Burns was pretty tired? Yes. quite the pitch mix for Duran. We faced him last game a little bit, or one of these games. It's all blending in.
Come on, are you kidding me?
Zabumafu was an elite TV show. Forgot about that one for a minute. Oh no, I shouldn't have swung at that.
Drop it.
Trout still gets there after a bad jump. So we're going to have to do it in the 9th.
All right, Tyler, let's go.
107. That was also a perfect.
Let's go, Tyler.
Whoa.
Come on, Tyler.
Ball one.
Good take.
Here we go, Tyler.
Swing now.
Yikes. That ball was so nasty. Like, even though I threw it, I thought that ball was going to the outside corner. Larry Doby already playing a better center field than Luis Robert.
Ball.
Let's just have one good at bat, please. Loop and a blast. Or pop out. Not the pitch to swing at.
Come on, Nando.
With that pitch mix, I certainly wasn't expecting any fastballs. And we're going to have to do it with the number 5 hitter, Colson Montgomery. See what he can do. 0 for 3. Man, I thought we were cruising to a victory in this one. They only had good swings in like 2 innings. And it was enough to get it done. Unless... Oh,
Look out. Drop it.
cool. Awesome. Nice. Love it. Man, that one hurts. The other couple games that I lost was like, wasn't really getting anything going. And then this game, 3 runs in the 8th given up. And we end up lower than where we started. That's tough. If I was using a real team, could I have won? Maybe. Very possible. But we don't do that here. Playing hard mode. Open this ball and pack, and then we will be done for the day. 2 ball and packs, it looks like. Next week, I think I should be here. Going out of town again this weekend. And then hopefully that's it for travel for the next, like, 2 months. In the meantime, we'll watch some PBS Kids, I think. I think that's the move. All right. Appreciate you guys hanging. Hope you had a good time. See if we have any resolutions on the CBA before our next stream. We will go say hi to Ray Cheesy. He's on a subathon, I think. Is it day 3? Day 3 of his subathon. That's fun. Yeah, I think I should be on next week. Back to some more MLB, most likely. Once some of these games come out, I might end up playing something else towards the end of the season, but we'll keep it going as long as there's a new White Sox player for my team. I think that's what it'll come down to. So yeah, I hope you guys had a good time. I will catch you next week. Peace.